as much as pouring into your cup is making sure that you have good people around you, is making sure that you're making good choices, is making sure that you are doing as much to make sure that you are good and that you are just building into your community. It is also taking good care of your mental health. The moment I realized that it wasn't sustainable, I started creating firm boundaries. Hi, community. Welcome to this week's episode of A Cupful. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you being here. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're taking each day as it comes. I hope that you are finding a lot of time to be kind to yourself, to be gentle with yourself, to just love up on yourself. So this week, I thought I'd do things a little bit differently. I really wanted to share the things that I am doing to prioritize my mental health. Now, just as much as pouring into your cup is making sure that you have good people around you, is making sure that you're making good choices, is making sure that you are doing as much to make sure that you are good and that you are just building into your community, it is also taking good care of your mental health. And so I thought, why not share the things that I am doing to make sure that I'm good in that way? Maybe somebody will be able to use that for themselves. It might just get somebody else thinking about whether they are prioritizing their mental health or not. So I thought, let me do something a little bit different. Let me just give the girls the 211 on the things that I am doing to keep myself going, to keep myself good in the midst of my challenges in life, in the midst of just like worldly challenges that affect me as well. So, the first thing for me is definitely staying active, drinking plenty of water, and eating a balanced diet. Now, I'm not saying I'm eating clean all the time, not even most of the time, but I am eating food that is good for me, that is nourishing my body, because I love my body and I love how good it feels to take care of it. And I also refuse to starve myself and I refuse to restrict myself. So I eat what I want in moderation and I get in some activity while I'm at it and I just feel good. It makes me feel really good. I also love drinking water because it leaves me feeling so refreshed, like all the time. I stopped drinking fizzy drinks unless it is in a drink and I don't know about it. Then I'm not going to drink it. Like when it comes straight up out of the bottle or out of a can, I don't drink fizzy drinks. I would rather drink water. It doesn't matter if it's just going to happen once for me. It's just something that I decided to cut out of my diet completely because of the sugar that is in there. Overall, taking care of myself, it really helps with boosting my self-confidence. I just really feel good. I I love how it feels. I love that I can take care of myself in this way and I'm going to feel good. So I absolutely recommend that 100%. Another thing is being comfortable with saying no and not feeling the need to explain myself. Sometimes a no is a no because I don't feel like it, or I'm tired, or I just don't feel good about that specific thing. So I won't participate and I won't feel the need to explain myself. You don't have to explain yourself if you don't want to explain yourself. It's really not necessary. Don't give yourself stress. The third thing is definitely creating firm boundaries. I used to be such a big people pleaser and it was weighing down heavily on my mental health. The moment I realized that it wasn't sustainable, I started creating firm boundaries when it comes to how people speak to me and just overall how I allow them to treat me. I realized that what continues is only what I allow. So now I absolutely refuse to move my routine around to accommodate someone, especially if it isn't an emergency. I do not show up when I do not have the capacity. Very important. I'm so vocal about how I would like to be treated, and I'm serious about it. I'm not playing around. If you aren't going to treat me right, then get right on out of my life. I am over it. I don't have the space for it anymore. I'm not going to jeopardize my well-being just so that I can have people in my life. Absolutely not. If you were meant to be there in the first place, then you would have stayed and listened to what I had to say when I was creating my boundaries. So that's that, really. I am not going to allow anyone to ever set my boundaries after I've made them clear. Um, I will create a healthy distance, because if I give you respect, then I expect it in return. And if you refuse to give it to me, then you will no longer be seeing me. Period. That's really all there is to it. The next thing is I listen to my body when it says it is tired. Oh my goodness. I have promised myself that I'm not girl bossing my way into exhaustion or burnout. When it comes to my work, I go hard and I value that. But when I'm tired, I'm putting my phone down and I'm closing my laptop. Because how am I going to be productive and how am I going to produce good work when I'm exhausted? I absolutely believe in resting when my body says it needs it. As much as I fuel my body with good food, exercise, and water, I also need to rest for my body to keep functioning in a healthy way. And it contributes towards my healing in one way or another. To just be in sync with my body in that way and give it the time of day when it says to me, girl, this is just too much. Can we please just rest? Whatever we haven't done today, we'll do tomorrow. And I really wasn't always like that. I used to want to push myself to the limit, sometimes beyond the limit. But then I said to myself, why? Why, in wanting to do more or achieve more or be good, do I need to put my well-being on the line in that way? Do I need to skimp on resting? I really don't have to. I can definitely have a good balance of both. And that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm resting, and I'm not going to compromise on that. The other thing is I allow life to happen as it should and live in the moment when there is an opportunity to live in it. No trying to control any outcome. I also used to really want to control outcomes. I just put my best foot forward and leave the rest to work itself out. I used to think I needed to control the outcome of most, if not all, situations of life in general. And then I realized that I'm really missing out on enjoying the moments I have been blessed to have, living in the present and really just appreciating that and seeing that and valuing that. And I just realized that stressing about what I cannot change is not worth it, because once I start stressing, then it's just downhill. So I try and avoid that by all means. I try not to think about things too much. What I can do, I will do, and I'll do to my best. And what is out of my hands, out of my control, I'm not going to stress myself about it, because there's nothing I can do. Another thing is, just living in the moment. Like I said, when there's that opportunity, I have really reached an age where I don't think too much about the little things anymore, like planning out an outfit, unless obviously it's like a huge event, but I'd hear about that in advance. But just like those impromptu things that come up, I don't stress myself out anymore. Or planning a makeup look. Impromptu hike, take me with. An impromptu brunch, I want to go. Unplanned movie dates, I am 100% there. Going to the park to just lie under a tree, that is exactly where I'm trying to be. I also love me a good party. So if it is going to have good vibes and just good people, good vibrations, then invite me, because I'm definitely trying to dance and listen to good music and enjoy my youth. So yeah, I'm just giving myself an opportunity to just live and be present and enjoy myself. The last thing is definitely for me, as much as I enjoy a good party, I've cut down on alcohol. So I used to heavily rely on alcohol to help me suppress my feelings and emotions, because working through them was not always something I was willing to do. This often looked like getting really, really, really drunk when indulging. But once I started dealing with everything I had buried, I found healthier coping mechanisms and realized that I could most definitely still enjoy alcohol, but with a limit, to maybe 1 or 2 glasses, 2 at the most. I won't even lie, I enjoy a good glass of Cabernet Sauvignon, or a good glass of gin, but I know how to limit that intake. Even when I'm sipping on a Bernini or a brutal fruit, I know that I'm not going to drink 6. I'm not going to even drink 4. I'll be content with just 2. And I've really established that healthy balance. Alcohol doesn't exist in my life to suppress anything anymore. It's something that's there to be enjoyed occasionally in moderation, as I mentioned earlier on, when it comes to eating everything. So yeah, those are the things that I'm doing at the moment that I also think are sustainable to take good care of my mental health. And I hope that you are doing the same, finding good, sustainable, healthy ways to take care of yourself, to put your mental health first in the midst of everything that's happening in your life, in the midst of things that are happening in the world that you don't necessarily have control over. I hope that it's definitely a priority, and taking care of our mental health is not something we should do when we are in a bad place, when our mental health is just looking super grim. It's something that we should do and incorporate into our lifestyle every single day, and really just make sure that we're looking out for ourselves in that way. This is where we are ending this week's episode. I hope that it was insightful, it was informative. I hope that it reached the right people, the people that needed it the most. Thank you so, so much for being here again. Please don't forget that A Cupful is available on all listening platforms: Apple Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, Amazon Music. If you go on Google and you type in A Cupful, you are going to find it on most listening platforms. So please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to give it a listen. Please share it as far and wide as you possibly can. And if you find yourself back here every other week, please don't forget to give this podcast a 5-star rating. I would also absolutely love it if you joined me on Instagram. The handle is at @a_cupful. If you're looking to keep up with the podcast, if you are looking to see when I have released an episode, which is every Wednesday, then you are going to be able to find all of that information on Instagram. You can also DM me if you would like to share your thoughts about this episode, about any other episode. If you are looking to hear about other topics that you would like to suggest, you are more than welcome to do so. We are a community here. I absolutely love it when you share your thoughts, ideas, and whatever else. Yeah, so come on out and definitely do that. I'd love to hear from you. Please have a beautiful remainder of this week. Rest when you need to, work when you need to. Look in the mirror and say really, really kind things to yourself. Be kind to other people. And don't forget to keep doing the things that fill your cup.